are we ready to jump into things?
Give me
All right.
one little second. I need to put my mouse by my laptop. If I may ask, how's every you're in Florida, correct?
Yeah. I'm in Florida.
How's everything
Uh,
over there?
it is pretty good. I don't want to say chilly because sometimes depending on who I'm talking to, they'll be like, man, you don't know what chilly is or what cold is. But yeah, it got dropped down to like the 50s today. So it's a bit cooler for my liking. um, but yeah, where's are you guys out of again?
We are based out of the University Houston Clear Lake campus, located in Houston, Texas.
Okay. I've actually done some work there for a client. I've traveled to Houston a couple times. Big highways. I'll tell you
An amazing barbecue. I'll give you that. I don't know if Florida has that. I don't think they do though. The barbecue.
that. It's a little different. The styles are a little different. I've tried both, and I've debated with a few people from Texas. But yeah, Texas barbecue, it's up there. It's up there. Well, all right, I put together just some quick text on the slides just to keep my head on track on what I'm going to go through and to kind of keep a structure. Let's see. Can I? Oh, I cannot share screen. It actually says disabled by host.
I was not. I did not do that on purpose.
Okay, all good. If you can't, it's all right. I got it up on my screen, and I can just talk to it.
All right. Let me know if you can. If you have access now. I made you co-host.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, where?
As
All
sad
right.
as this may sound, Cedric, the only time I've been in Florida was, I kid you not, maybe an hour and 32 minutes, Miami International. That was my only
Oh,
time.
oh man. Yeah, you have to spend some time. Maybe next time you come through, can definitely hook you up with the tour. Hold on, just trying to work through some of these technical difficulties. Please grant browser access to screen recording. Okay. All right, give me one second. I gotta go to system preferences. Because you can't see my screen right now, right?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I had set it. Mhm. Security and privacy, screen recording. Gotta love Max. All right. Google Chrome will quit and all right, I gotta drop out and come back in. I'll be right back in.
Understood. If anything, please let me know. How we doing? Yes. In the meantime,
All right. Should be right back at it. Like I never left.
all is good.
All is good, all is good. Right, so you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes, sir. Navigating the cybersecurity landscape.
All right. Yeah, I just some quick text. Most of it, there's nothing really visually appealing. This is just to keep myself on track. 'Cause I got ADHD and I'm all over the place. So yeah, today wanted to talk to you guys about just the different areas of opportunities within cybersecurity. Because I know when it comes to when you're first thinking about getting in, you know going to school, you're learning all these different areas. You're just still trying to find your lane. Sometimes it for others it may be sooner than later. You where you actually want to sit within the ecosystem, within the landscape, whether if you want to work in audit, you want to work as a consultant, okay, or what area do you want to consult in, etc. There's a lot of different facets that you can practice in within the field. I like to compare it to the medical field, to be honest, because it's the best analogy because there's so many different facets to cybersecurity similar to the medical field. Whereas, you have doctors that specialize on your nervous system, your heart, your brain, whatever the case may be. It's the same for different disciplines within cybersecurity. One technology in itself you could have a whole career on in operationalizing and implementing. So it's a vast field. We'll get into that. Who am I? Um, some call me show up, show out. Um, that's usually my nickname whenever I come in on an engagement for any client. That's just been my brand since day one. I like to show up and show out. I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm also a professional MMA fighter, as well as I've been an experienced practitioner in cybersecurity for the past 10 years. And my claim to fame really was ethical hacking, and I've been able to leverage the fruits of my labor within cybersecurity to fund all of my personal endeavors and hobbies. And so I've always been an entrepreneur, and the working in cybersecurity has allowed me to become an entrepreneur and make those costly mistakes. And this presentation is meant to be as interactive as possible. So, hey, Michael, if you or anyone else that has any questions, as I'm talking, feel free to ask. All right.
Sure, and I'll mention in case we have anyone jump in the Zoom meeting.
All right.
Definitely the chat option is open, so feel free to do that or unmute your microphone and ask away. And if anyone comes here is you know those that are in person in the audience have a question, feel free to ask.
All right. I can't see the chat window or anything like that, so I'll let you keep me honest here, Michael. Um, all right. So a lot of you, well, for those who don't know, I just still do a level set of what cybersecurity is because I get asked that a lot whenever I talk about it. At the core of cybersecurity, it covers a wide range of activities, all aimed at protecting different uh, things. And this could be related to what certain data at an organization or personal data or just services that are provided. But at the core of it, cybersecurity is defined by what's known as the CIA triad, which is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So some examples I like to give. Um, let's say you had some private communications that you had, or some private information that you're storing digitally, some sort, whether if it's with the company or to yourself. um, that confidentiality of that information is one of the main core pillars of cybersecurity, because let's say if that information were to become compromised, could an attacker actually use that to you know steal your identity, or to steal access to a service, whatever the case may be. Integrity, I like to use the money because money seems to move. It resonates the most with people. When you go to swipe your debit card or credit card, when you need to pay for something, you want to make sure that it works. So let's say, for example, you had a certain amount of money in your bank account, and you go to actually use your card, knowing that you had that amount of money in your bank account, and all of a sudden your card's declining, and when you check your account, you no longer have any money in the account. And the bank says they have no record of you or depositing any money or how you got to the balance that you thought you were at. This has actually happened in real life where attackers have compromised database values within banks to wipe away balances, also to add money when there wasn't any money actually attributed to an account. So integrity is a big thing, as well as availability. I like to use the 911 reference for this. When you pick up the phone to call 911 for whatever reason it is, it's usually an emergency. So when you pick up that phone, you want to make sure that you get dial tone and that some operators on the other end that actually can triage your call and route you to the proper authorities, right? So those are the big three pillars that really make up cybersecurity. And now each of these different pillars have so many different facets that could be that could stream from these basic work streams per se, right? And how we break it down in the most simplest terms is the people, processes, and technology that organizations put into place to help address these areas. So people just meaning, are you hiring the right qualified individuals that have the right skill set to carry out certain roles and responsibilities? Have certain people been delegated specific responsibilities, as in per se, architect for the solution, security operations, etc. Processes, is there any defined processes regarding all of the different control areas that you have to address? Because in cybersecurity, there's so many different applicable legislations, whether that be from a state and local government or a federal government perspective, as well as you have private entities that have their own compliance frameworks, like let's say PCI, which is the payment card industry. They have what's called the data security standard, and this is basically a council that's made up of all the major credit card carriers, and they've agreed upon a certain set, a certain standard of rules and controls that organizations that process credit cards should be doing. And this is to make sure that they can combat against, credit card fraud and identity theft. So processes really come into place there too, as well as the technology. Do you have the right technology in place to help accomplish um, the technical controls that need to be put in place to follow what's called industry standard best practices? These industry standard best practices are basically, a set of practices that the community has basically said this is the bare minimum that you should be doing in these areas. There's recommended and really required, but it's going to all be based on the organization itself and what frameworks really apply to them. Because really, no organization goes and follows one compliance framework. They're usually following some sort of custom framework that combines the best of everything that they need to be in compliance with. And sometimes some organizations go above and beyond. So it's all about understanding what your business is, whatever organization that you're going to be supporting when it comes to cybersecurity, and that will give you better insight into what areas of cybersecurity do you need to actually focus on. Because let's say if you were working in a healthcare industry, you're going to be focused on making sure you're following HIPAA and that you've done your risk assessments, and you're following the other controls that are outlined that are best practices to be in compliance with that. I'll pause there. Any questions? Make sense? All right. Um, just want to give a little bit of insight on myself on how did I get started? I really got started by watching TV on the couch. I was fresh out of high school. I graduated at a very young age, at 17, and I was working as a busboy at Texas Roadhouse. bussing tables and serving. Eventually moved up to serving. Um, and then after a little bit of that, been there for a few years and just looking for more in life. About to have a child at a very young age. I just needed to find a lucrative skill set to try to implement. And I had tried everything at this point in time. I tried drop shipping. I tried trading cryptocurrency at the time, forex. I did a lot of different things, multi-level marketing. But at the end of the day, it still left a hole to be filled. So I was watching TV on the couch, and the show Hacker came on about Vice, and it was about this guy who was working in cybersecurity, working remote, traveling the world, making multi six figures from his laptop. And I was like, wow, I wonder if this is too good to be true. I want to look it up and see. And then come to find out, it was a big field that there was definitely there's still a big gap, and it's a growing gap that needs to be fulfilled and there's a lot of openings for qualified individuals. There's a lot of applicants out there, but there's not really that many qualified individuals that have the baseline skill set, because sometimes they might still have that gap. But I got started after seeing that show and went into black holes. I like to call them, watching YouTube videos, Googling different things, and going to blogs and finding mentors. It took. I went down that route for about another 3 years before I realized, I was going to school, and school is something that I've always been a personal goal. I wanted to be the first person from my family to graduate from college with a degree, and I did. But I eventually took a break from school a little bit because I realized, similar to the guy who was on the TV show who didn't even have a high school degree and he was working in the field. I was like, I can break into the field now. I just need to learn the specific skill set, and then I can continue to build on that. So that's what I set out and did. Is I took a break, took a kind of a entry level IT role as a network technician, setting up networks, running cable and whatnot. While at that time simultaneously, I was also looking into ethical hacking, because there were so many different paths into cybersecurity. When I started looking into it, it was just like the medical field. There's just so many different areas, and you don't know what you don't know, right? But the most appealing area to me was ethical hacking at the time. Nothing sounded better to me than being able to do something that bad guys are doing, but you're doing it for the good guys, and being able to fight against all the fraud and the hacking that's happening in the world, and being able to help people out. Made me feel, at that time, it made me feel that I would feel good in the position, helping out, and I would be making the world a better place. And I can say, after practicing for the past 10 years, that it has. Um, so ethical hacking was the rabbit hole that I chose to go down, and self-taught some skills in that area. Got started doing some freelance work, and then eventually got on with a consulting firm after quite some time, and then started performing engagements in numerous areas. There's so many different career paths, but some of the main paths that you should be focused on when you're first breaking into the field, um, is is these core areas. There's really consulting, administration, like whether if it's on-premise infrastructure for IT, or in the cloud, which is the biggest thing. The cloud is just a fancy name of someone else's computer. Like, instead of having the networking infrastructure on the premise, like how it used to be, or in a data center somewhere that you rent in space. Now you're just renting space from Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or one of them at Amazon, GCP, or one of the major cloud providers. That's really it. That's really the biggest difference in that area. But administration, engineering, as far as software development goes, and security engineering with automation, being able to code things, code things programmatically to help implement automation to reduce manual work. And then you also have like governance, risk, and compliance, which is really it's not that technical. Honestly, it's mostly reviewing spreadsheets and project management and doing analytical work. Um, of analyzing, the different areas that you need governance on, making sure you're in compliance with the different frameworks that your organization may have to be in compliant with. But those are some of the major areas. I want to pause there and see if there any questions on some of the career paths in cyber.
I have a question. So, first thing for me, like, I want to go into cybersecurity, and one of the big things I'm worried about is like when it comes to like coding and such. Because like I can read code perfectly, but don't ask me to write. I suffer a lot from like writing code. So I'm wondering like, is this path like still right for me?
Listen, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that because I at first, when I was a kid, I was like, what, 15 at the time when I had first wanted to work with computers, and I just thought you had to know how to code because computer science, and turned me off, and then I didn't want to work in with computers for quite some time. And in cybersecurity, I thought the same thing, but I had sucked it up and it was like, all right, if I have to teach myself how to code, I will. Because I can read, I'm in the same boat. I can read code perfectly fine. And you give me some time, I can put stuff together. But like remembering things like right off the line and just and coding off, nobody's really like that. No one's really like that unless you're a full-time dedicated developer. Would I say it's still a right path for you? Yes, for sure. There are going to be some times, depending on the position that you're in, where you might need to put some stuff together. But with advancements like ChatGPT, I myself, I'm a horrible coder, but I am an A grade coder now with ChatGPT because I understand the logic of the structure of what you're trying to put together. So if you can convey that properly in a prompt, then there's certain add-ons that will help. Not out the box, ChatGPT can provide you code in different languages, as well as there's dedicated functionality within GitHub and some of these other tools that allow to help you build out your code so you can be more efficient and learn faster. But there are positions that where if you don't want to code at all, you don't have to. For example, let's say if you were working in governance, risk, and compliance, you're not going to be coding. You're not going to be doing most of the stuff that you're probably be doing is formulas and Excel spreadsheets to pull data or making dashboards and Power BI using Microsoft Office tools, native tools that you have support on, and documentation and resources that you can go to help. Nobody knows everything in this field, and even coders, we're googling everything. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully that answered. Um,
I got a
any other
quick
questions?
question. I guess it's gonna kind of piggyback off of that previous question. Or what you previously said about AI, which is a tool that I'm pretty sure everyone in IT is utilizing. Every different field, everyone's using it. It's the greatest thing. But here's the only downside that I can maybe, I guess, see, and this is what I'm gonna ask them. Do you foresee AI taking over cybersecurity related jobs such as, ethical hacking, compliance, you name it? Do you think AI can even, unfortunately, I guess, take away our jobs? Or what do you think?
That is a great question, and I'm so happy you asked it. And I'm not trying to sound cliche because you really are asking a great question. And I actually wrote a blog post about this online on our organization's site. Is will AI replace cybersecurity jobs? The fact of the matter is, no, it's not. It's actually creating jobs because the site from so many different facets, and I'll break it down for you. The AI will never be able to make human decisions. It will never be able to have that emotional intelligence to be able to make decisions that require real intelligence, right? It's just artificial intelligence. It's giving you the fluff, the structure of what you need. So for mundane tasks that are normally manual, like let's say, just anything that takes it's a repetitive task that is systematized and it's a repeated process. AI is really helpful for helping automate that. And plenty of other use cases as well. But one, the AI must be secured with all the new AI being rolled out in so many different areas. Now you got companies that are worried about their employees just giving out their proprietary data to open AI. So they're coming up with alternatives in their own private models so that way they can roll out to their organization so that way they can safeguard their data, right? So that's just another aspect. Additionally, there is the compliance aspect of things now because there's new laws that have come out that where your AI, specifically like for the EU has now banned any emotional intelligent based AI that makes any decisions that could affect human life. Like, so for example, if you're using it to determine if someone's going to get a car loan or home loan or things like that, if you're using AI for that, that over there they've banned that because that can be if you have bad data going into that AI, you're going to have bad data coming out. So the biggest risk with AI is disinformation and the quality of information that the model, the large language model, which is what all these AIs are built off of, making sure that those have quality data training sets in it so that way you can get quality data out. So if you have bad data in those models, you're going to get bad data out. And with it's honestly very unfortunate, but a lot of people are disproportionately relying on AI, thinking that it's the truth for everything, that they don't have to check up on it at all. And there's been doctors, there's been lawyers, there's been in almost every field so far, people who have gotten caught up in that fact that AI isn't perfect and that there still needs to be a human behind it to drive it and to make sure to be your those guardrails. You use it as a tool. It's not a replacement at all. It's a tool in your bucket to help you be more efficient. That makes sense.
100%, I agree. I personally have dibbled and dabbled with ChatGPT, asked it several questions, especially whenever it comes to say programming. I've asked it, hey, run this program. Um, it needs to look like this. Needs to give me this output. And at times it'll give me the exact opposite. I say, hey, print hello world, and it'll print something a little bit different and even incorrect. So I 100% agree with you on the fact that you can't use it for everything. You can use it
Yeah.
to guide you, but the AI, it's growing itself. It also needs guidance. You can't say that's always going to be 100% factual, 100% reliable.
Yep, exactly. And just some little tidbit on that. So I myself, I write code. I'm a okay programmer, but with add-ons like Blackbox AI, and I use that in Visual Studio Code. That's my text editor, my code editor that I use of preference, because of all the different plugins you can add to it. But Blackbox AI, um, that thing alone is like it brings your coding knowledge on steroids. Like you can just come in, you can ask it and teach you things on how to code, and you can ask it outright to write specific blocks of code that you need, or outright the whole code. I use it for writing exploit code pretty quickly anytime I find any vulnerabilities or any things that I need to script quickly. I leverage that, as well as if you're using just regular Chat GPT, the 3.5, you're gonna get responses and logic from it that's not it's not bad, but it's more like a 6.5 to 7 in actual conciseness, whereas the next model GPT-4 is a little bit better. It's more around like an eight. It can be an 8 to 9, but it still has its faults. But it's growing. We know it's growing, but there's so many different use cases for the different AIs. You just have to find the right prompts, understand the right prompts, and some people have built bots out there, right? GPT bots that are just trained with the right prompts. So out the box, you can just start using it for a certain use case. So you don't have to think of the prompt and how to contextualize it for your use case. Well, awesome question. I know I went off on a tangent. um, any other questions?
So you're an MMA fighter and all that. How do you, balance your life between, work and MMA?
Man, honestly, it's balance. It's something that I still struggle with today, but there when you get into the field, you understand that you never be able to do everything. There's a lot to do, right? And you might not ever have the amount of resources. So having project management skills and time management skills to understand like what is priority, what are your priorities, and what can be put in the backlog, that is a skill that will pay dividends throughout your personal life and professional life. So that's what I've really had to work on, because I came from a family of procrastinators, and I always never wanted to be like that. Never liked being late. Always liked being on time. Getting my assignments done on time, etc. Just not making an excuse because you don't want to miss out on opportunities just because you weren't prepared. So understanding what the criticality is of the different things that you're working on and placing and really ranking those properly based off whatever data points that you define. Like for myself, first thing is due dates. Okay, is something due at a certain time? Okay, boom, that's the first thing. Okay, what's the impact if it doesn't get done? Okay, if it doesn't get done, I might, if I could find this, or I'm at the risk of getting fired, or a project might fall through. Whatever the case is, I think of the impact of that falling through, and depending on that impact, that's another data point that will get triaged against that item that I'm working on or area of life that I'm trying to balance. And based on that, then that's when I have the complete picture after I've gone through that and I understand, okay, then I know I can put this on the back burner. Yeah, I really want to get that done, but I really don't have to get it done right now. I can put that on the slate here and focus on this. And it's a constant juggle because things are always popping up. But it's just a skill that it's just a continuous thing that you always improve on throughout your career. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? Come on, keep
How
them
did you get
coming.
into MMA?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Well, how did you get into MMA?
Oh, how did I get into MMA? So yeah, I was a wrestler and boxer in high school. And after I graduated, my mom had kept me home. She didn't want me to go to university, so um, I stayed and I was looking for something to be competitive in still. But now that wrestling was done for me in high school, and I didn't go off to wrestle in college. I found a local MMA gym here because, in high school while I was wrestling, I used to get in fights all the time. Sometimes like we used to get together as kids and we'd have like our own little fight club and we'll go meet together at our buddy's house and we'd make matchups with people and we'd fight. We loved the UFC at the time. It was just something that as kids we did for fun, and then after that I really wanted to do it like for real. I was like, I didn't want to just do it in the backyard, so I found a gym locally here where I knew a couple friends of mine that I knew growing up through high school and from the town that they were actually pursuing a professional career. And I drew inspiration from them and started training right after high school in MMA. I've been training MMA for almost 10 years now. Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
That's about it for now.
All right. Well, that's really all I have for today. I mean, if you guys want to catch up with me, you can catch up with me on LinkedIn. My name's Cedric Louissaint. I just shoot me a message. I'm connected pretty much anyone. Just let me know
Sorry to interrupt, but
from the.
I have one more question. Um,
Uh,
Getting into the IT field and all that, as of now, I'm not working, I'm focusing on studies, but I kind of look for work or internships. And I'm just looking for any place right now, preferably like something that's like tech related. Would that be the best place? Like going for like a tech related job or working anywhere would be fine just to get into IT.
So working now, this is a thing that there's a common misconception that, you know, in the industry, when you go into some of these job applications and stuff, they'll say, we want this many years of experience, this, that, and the third. But in reality, they're just doing that to see what can they get from the cream of the crop. And most of the times they settle for something that's less, for a candidate who doesn't really meet all of their standards, because the talent pool out there is really slim. Um, so if you're an individual that where you're showing already, you're taking the initiative to learn certain things on your own, you signed up for certain courses, and whatever the case may be, you've gone out and got a certification on your own. You can leverage that to go straight into, like an entry level cybersecurity role, like in ethical hacking, or as a SOC analyst. And now when I say entry level, you have to come to the table with the bare amount of skill set. A lot of people think that, and I'll tell you this too, a lot of students think, because I'm a hiring manager myself, and I interview students with even with master's degrees, and I have a mentorship program. Um, there's certain students that come through and they think that they're going to learn everything on the job, and that it'll be taught to them and spoon fed, and someone's going to pull them along. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that is not the case, and you will never get hired if that's what you're expecting. You actually have to do the work to come to the table with the bare skill set. Yeah, you may not have experience professionally somewhere else, but you should be able to talk through the methodology of whatever role of responsibility you're going after. So, and you should be able to understand the some of the core tools that are used. Whether if you've used them or not, you should know what tools are used and where to find documentation on them, things like that. Um, but whenever you're trying to break into the field, I know some people, they try to just go for like a help desk role or something entry level. I know I did it myself, but you know, you really don't need that. You really can spend the time just teaching yourself the skill sets, and bringing that out in your resume to understand, so organizations can understand the skill set that you've taught yourself, right? In the different areas you've gathered experience in, to go into straight into a cybersecurity role, right? And it doesn't matter what industry. Every industry has some sort of IT and cybersecurity. It used to be thought of back in the day, about 20 years ago, people thought IT and cyber IT was just some little nag of the business that's just meant to support the business, right? And cybersecurity wasn't even talked about. 10 years ago, okay, everyone understands that IT is the business, and if we want to be able to scale out and increase revenue, we have to make sure the technology utilization across the board is sound, right? And all these cyber events started happening, and people realize now in today's age, you realize if you're not working on your IT program and your cybersecurity program, that you're going to go out of business. Because if you get hit with ransomware attacks, not only that, people's identity gets stolen, the market share loss because of trust, just all the different fines associated, it'll put you out of business. So there is now more than ever the demand for qualified individuals. And just because you come out of college with a degree, it does not make you qualified. And just because you have a certification, it does not make you qualified. Because at the end of the day, it's not only about the education that the technical competency is, but your ability to apply the concepts in real time and into practice. There's a difference between book knowledge and actually being able to talk through it in a conversation with someone, and you know kind of dwindle down highly technical concepts to different audiences depending on who you're talking to, whether if you're talking to an executive or a salesperson, and being able to support the business in any capacity that you need. That's the biggest thing that we lack in today when we're doing interviews. It's just that context, that awareness, is that people really, they may understand what cybersecurity is and whatnot, but not really how it applies into the position that they're coming after, and how to apply it dynamically, or to be able to hold a conversation. Or not only that, it's the communication skills, the soft skills, being able to uh again communicate certain topics and understand how to tailor your message. Or just sometimes it's the cultural fit. Degrees and certifications will start conversations. They'll open some doors, but they won't get you through the door. what gets you through the door is you actually being able to show the confidence and the professionalism in any of these areas, and to show the humbleness when you don't know something that you're not. It's not just, oh, I don't know it. It's okay. I'm not quite sure, but I'll follow up on that. I'll take that as an action item and I'll get back to you. Being along those, going along those lines. But yeah, either way, I know it's a long-winded answer, but long story short, you can go for any tech job in the entry level just to be able to get your foot in the door to understand the base level IT and from the ground up. Or you can self teach yourself, and break right into the field that you really want to go after, right? And continue to complement your skill set with continuing education. Because when you come into this field, you're agreeing to be a student for life. If you're just trying to think you're going to come in, learn something once, and then be able to leverage that to get the most money year after year, I got news for you. When you hear those layoffs that happen, those are the people who get laid off, really, primarily. Those are really the first to go. The people whose technical skill sets or communication skills are really roadblocks and aren't really growing with the company. And then after that, then it's really the surplus based on the different factors. But that, that makes sense. Answer your question.
Yes, sir.
Another question I'd like to ask. Um, One thing that I find that can help out someone, especially looking into a job related to cybersecurity or IT in general, is to always maintain and keep up to date with current trends, current technologies, news stories. Um, and one easy way, well, I think easy way of doing that is simply following influencers related to the field. You yourself, you're in the field, you have many years of experience. Also, folks that are on YouTube, podcasts, reading up on blogs, articles. What, I guess, podcasts or I guess influencers related to IT, related to cybersecurity, do you keep up on and like watching to stay informed with? What's going on?
That's a great question. So I got a couple different mediums. It just really depends on what I'm in the mood for, or like what area could I really digest? Can I watch, or am I just listening? Could I read, etc. But first things first, I do podcasts. Podcasts really sum up a lot of the news, the major news, a lot. I listen to the Cyberwire daily. From This is my daily news briefing, and this is a ritual I do every single day. And I've done it for the past 8 years plus, and that's what's really helped me grow in all the different areas to build that institutional knowledge. But the Cyberwire, I also listen to Cybersecurity Today, and Risky Business. Those are for like news, right? Then as well as for like law and privacy related podcasts, Caveat. I'm actually gonna pull my phone out here to help me drop some more gems for everybody. Um, For hacking related stories, a really good one is Jackery Sider's podcast called Darknet Diaries. His stories, honestly, when I was first in the field, and I was like, man, I wish I could tell some of my friends some of the stories that I'm dealing with. Some of the stuff that cool engagements I'm on, the types of hacks we deal with, and then Jackery Sider, had his podcast where he's actually capitalizing on that, and going over real current events that's going on in the field, hacks that are happening. So that's a great podcast if you're into storytelling. He interviews hackers, he interviews blue team defenders. So you get insights from all different perspectives on that podcast. So that's a really good one. Um, there's also the Daily Tech News Show that just gives you different news and technology altogether across the spectrum. Like I like video games. I'm a gaming nerd, and I'm just technology in general. So I like keeping up with just the new tech that's out there. But besides that, as far as like for keeping up with you know, things that are new tactics and techniques out there that are going on in cybersecurity, because I do a lot of ethical hacking. I try to stay up to date with all the technical exploits, the new tradecraft that's out there by watching talks on Black Hat or any security conferences and the different areas that I practice in. as well as reading blogs. And it's not per se just specific individuals, because there could be individuals out there that never posted a blog ever, and they write a blog about one specific topic, and then I get to it, and it's the same for others. So it's just really just being aware that there is that information out there if you're looking for it. So if you're like, you heard about a new vulnerability, look up that new vulnerability in a blog about it, and you can see someone who's exploited it or investigated it and is giving background on it. If not, you can hear about it on a podcast. But however deep you want to go technically, there's that information out there. um, Another good one I just thought about, the cyber mentor. So if you're thinking about ethical hacking in any sense, Heath Adams, he's the cyber mentor. He has a good set of videos on YouTube, um, as well as there's so many, to be honest. I'd honestly say, if you want more insight on that, just reach out to me, and we'll figure out what you need to watch and what you're trying to learn, and I'll help you and I'll navigate, because I got so many resources when it comes to that. It's just there's so many to think of, but those are just a few off the top.
Got another quick question. On your wall, those are those by chance CompTIA certifications?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. You guys can actually see, because I was looking at this spreadsheet. But yeah, so I these are some of my certifications, some are my degrees. So I have two degrees in cybersecurity, one associate's and one bachelor's. I also have a technical certificate as a IT client specialist. And the rest are degrees. I mean, not degrees, certifications. So the top four and one left for your CompTIA. I have some stackable certifications with them too as well. I also hold the Cisco CCNA for my networking time, as well as I'm a certified information security professional, CISSP. Um, and hopefully, as of this weekend, I pass my CASP, and I get the my CISP and those other certifications that go along with it.
And this
Yeah.
is going to be, as of right now, to my last question. I am president of the HawkNet Cybersecurity Organization, and I totally should have mentioned this at the beginning. We're essentially a student-led, student-ran group based out of the University of Houston, Clear Lake, out of Houston, Texas. We're all about, I guess, making that, I guess, bridge, that gap short of students wanting to know about cybersecurity, wanting to know more about the field, especially
Mhm.
since we have a lot of students mainly that are IT majors, computer science, computer information systems, computer engineering, wanting to, I guess, break into this massively growing field that's just full of potential, and all the knowledge base. Because there's sometimes a gap. I have people like, oh man, that sounds so cool, man, making 100,000 a year, cybersecurity, let's do this. What is cybersecurity? That's what we're all about. So my question essentially is, what, I guess, hands-on activities would you recommend that I, as president of this organization, such as capture the flag, hack the box, try hack these? What would you recommend as, I guess, hands-on cybersecurity?
So I guess there's two parts though, because you said you want to bridge the gap from people understanding what is cybersecurity, and then you went into talking about capture the flag and stuff. I feel like that would be a later down the line, after they understand, right? After they understand the different areas and niches that you can go to. I think the first thing that you can do is help better educate the students on campus on the opportunities within cybersecurity, and letting them know, giving them insight into some of the different roles and responsibilities that you could go down in cybersecurity, and kind of let them know, like, hey, you could be an ethical hacker, or you could work in governance, risk, and compliance, and you don't even need to know how to code. Um, and educate people on the different areas of opportunities, and then from there curate that interest from them, hone that interest. And if they have that hacking interest, then yeah, the try hack me and all that stuff, that's a great idea to get them more engaged, to do walkthroughs. To at first I would do watch walkthroughs of boxes, walkthroughs of capture the flags that have been done, so people can get better insight onto the different attacks that could happen. Because there's so many new attack vectors that come out all the time. You'll never know all of them, but just getting that insight and that curiosity to be able to know to always look, to always think outside the box. When it comes to the ethical hacker perspective, that will definitely work. But let's say if someone's interested in the compliance perspective, then talking to them about the different areas of opportunity with PCI, leveraging HIPAA, just honestly, just leveraging those frameworks alone, people can make a whole living out of just by talking through issues and knowing the controls, knowing the law, and how to basically assess the organization that you're working for, and understanding what the gaps are and coming up with a plan to bridge that gap, right? To come into compliance. Though that's the major skill set right there. Just being able to understand what the areas of opportunities are and how you can contribute value to the organization in those different paths, and educating the students on those different paths is what's going to lead to them wanting to know more and wanting to dabble more into figuring out what might be the niche for them if they were to decide to join cybersecurity.
I just got another question kind of out of that. My apologies, all these questions.
You're good. You're good to keep the questions coming. I told you it's supposed to be interactive. So this is good stuff.
This question is in regards to, and I understand if you don't want to share the answer, completely understand, I'm sure privacy laws, everything. But what has been the worst cybersecurity related incident that you have faced working for an organization? For example, a massive
Log4j.
hack, something.
I could tell you right now, it's Log4j. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Log4j? Have you heard about it? No? Oh man, please do when you leave here or Google Log4j. It's literally LOG, the number 4 in J. This was the worst vulnerability that I have seen in my entire career. It was rated a 10 out of 10 on the vulnerability scale. There's not many vulnerabilities that get 10 out of 10. This vulnerability basically allowed anyone who was using that vulnerable component, attackers, to basically get access to it. And this component is used in everything, almost everything. Your phones, the cameras, everything. A lot of things are using that component, which basically made everything Swiss cheese for hackers. And nation state hackers were using this type of vulnerability to break into systems, and people didn't know. And not only that, once it got out there, now the script kiddies, people who barely had the knowledge about hacking, now understood this attack vector and were taking advantage of it to compromise organizations. So it was like playing whack-a-mole, and a lot of organizations really didn't understand what they had that was running this vulnerable component, because they didn't have what's called a software bill of materials to be able to understand what components are they running in their softwares and what versions, so that way they can quickly identify, are we affected by this vulnerability or not. So a lot of organizations didn't realize they were vulnerable until they saw that, oh my god, we were getting hacked, we got hacked, we lost our data, like what happened, and they're doing an investigation. So that time was honestly, it was the worst time for the blue team people. But as for consultants, it was probably the best time ever, because so many organizations needed our help to figure out what was happening, because they were either getting hacked or they just needed help assessing to see if they are vulnerable to this and if they have been compromised. But for other organizations, for other people who were like defenders on the blue team side, oh, I bless them. It was probably it was a fire drill for them for months, working probably 12, 15-hour shifts, just trying to trying to get the most out of the day to try to make sure that their organizations is on the up and up and not getting hacked. But yeah, that was probably the worst attacks that I've ever dealt with. And to this day, we're still dealing with the residual effects. But at the time, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was fire drills, meetings nonstop. Like the lax environment was not to be had, and everyone around the world was like that, because everybody was getting hacked. Well, but yeah, great question. All right. All right. Well, there's no other questions. I think we could call it there. Again, if you want to catch up with me, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Cedric Louissaint. I'll be happy to connect with you. Or you can follow me on Instagram, show up, show out.
Perfect. Thank you. And on behalf of everyone from HawkNet, I'd like to thank everyone who attended in person, virtually. Those watching on the YouTube channel, thank you all for watching. And a big thank you to you, Cedric, for being today's guest speaker. Thank you so much for taking time out of to be able to make this happen.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. And anytime you wanted me to come back, I'll be happy to come back, talk with you. Anytime you guys want to connect, any career advice, whatever, feel free to reach out.
We have right here your LinkedIn and your Instagram. So anyone watching, there you go.
All right. All right, guys. I'll catch up with you. Have a good one.
Great one. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.